I've been in TLC for 5 years, since 2015. There's not a lot of people who hang in there that long. And I've seen so many things come and go. And at first, it was all about the weight loss. We were known as a company that lose 5 pounds in 5 days. And I don't know if you noticed, a lot of people haven't, but we've stopped using that slogan. Because we are so much more than the lose 5 pounds in 5 days company. We're so much more than the tea company. That's why a lot of other products we have are like gaining momentum, like the sea moss and things like that. So I'm happy that you joined, even though you don't need to lose weight.
That's excellent. That's great to hear, because like the product sea moss and the hormone, the Blossom Me, I think
girl,
is the product that I'm most interested in right now.
Yes. Do you know that's my favorite product?
What I need. I'm glad to hear it.
Huh?
I said I'm glad to hear it, because that's really what pulled me out more to decide to move forward with joining the company.
Now, have you ever tried any of the TLC products?
Nope.
Look at that. See? Okay, so, all right. So let me tell you this right now. Your training starts now. Think about what you're doing. And so when you get into the company, I don't want you to block out people just because they haven't tried the products, because you're not the only one. I have a few people on my team. They've never tried the products and they just completely skipped over the customer part and went straight to the distributor part. So you've never tried any of the products. Now, I will tell you this. We're not going to leave you there. Of course, you are going to try the product because you're going to be a product of the product, because people want to know, are you taking what you're trying to sell me?
Right, and I'm really big on that, because I've had experience in sales before, and I've tried other network marketing products. Right?
I was going to ask you.
And I want to save the money, and I also am a huge documenter. So if I'm having an experience with something, even if it's like I go to the doctor, I need antibiotics or something, I'm going to document how I feel as I'm taking this medicine. And it's not really super rigid. I just like to keep just a kind of an idea of whether or not I notice a difference. So for me, if I just go ahead and join, and then I start taking the product and I begin to have experiences, now I have proof of my transformation or what has changed with me that I can use with other people, and as I'm showing samples. So that's my plan. But I feel much more motivated about using this product and going this route, going in so fast with it, just because of the research that I've already done and the videos I've watched and the things I've heard. So, and what I know I need from me in my life.
Okay, so that's good to know too, because I'm telling you right now, when you go out there and tell people about these products, I'm telling you right now, the number one rule I have is don't be a weirdo. Okay? Just talk in regular plain English and tell people the truth. So like for me, people that watch my videos, they know I have favorites. I have certain products that I don't particularly care for so much, but I have customers that love those products. Everybody's body is different. Everything is different. So I'm always honest when I share my product reviews. So I love to hear that you say you like to documentation. That is the stuff that you want to share. Okay? You want to go out there and be like, here's the pro of this, here's the con of this. Like for me, we got a new product called Complex. They came out with it recently, May of this year, and it was in response to the environment that we're in, with everybody being concerned with their health. Complex has a lot of great stuff in it. Echinacea, this, that, the third, 50 million things. It's a really good product. But I ain't gonna lie, I have problems swallowing capsules. And when I open up the capsule and put it in something, that thing is horrid.
Like, I'm not huge on capsules.
No. So
that's why, I'm looking for things that I can drink on the go. For some reason, capsules hit my stomach and then they stay with me all day. It's not a happy feeling. So
now I will take capsules, but I open them up and I put them in chocolate almond milk. So guess what? So when I shared that with people, now Complex, I haven't found any. Blossom Me, I put that in vanilla coffee and cold coffee.
It's a capsule. It's like a gel. I don't know what I was thinking when you said capsule. Like,
oh, you thought it was a gel? It's a capsule with a seam, so you can open it up and put it in stuff.
Oh, I'm good with those.
Yes, and so and you know what? Seriously, Jeri, There are so many people who have just the smallest detail can lead you to a client, because a lot of our clients do not know that. So when I come on screen and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna talk to y'all while I'm taking my supplements, and then I tell them, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I have a problem swallowing pills. Do you know how many people out there have a problem swallowing pills? So they're like, me too. And so then when they like, well, what do you put in yours in? I'm like, I put everything except for the Blossomie and chocolate almond milk. The Blossomie has a different taste, so I use vanilla, cold vanilla not ice cream. Look at where my mind went. I use cold vanilla coffee. Do you know how many clients I get just because that is a bonding moment for them?
It is, because I've had problems swallowing pills for most of my life, and it's only been in the last, I want to say maybe 8 years or so, but it's only certain types of pills that I can even mind over matter swallow. And
see,
so
I'm not
an option to open them up sometimes,
right,
especially if it's more than one. If it's one or two, I can get by with that, but if I had to do it all day, having that option to open it up and stir it into something is major, because if you have that reflex, you just do it.
Right.
Ugh.
And see, if somebody is wanting to buy from you, but they're worried about that, now you just ease their mind. So it's super duper important. Don't take anything for granted. That's what I tell people when selling these products. Tell people everything, even the least little thing, because you never know who is going to find that tip helpful. Okay?
That's good to know.
So what the stuff that you're documenting, what you like about the products, best tips, all my best tips videos, they get a lot of hits. Hey, don't forget this, don't forget that. I found that if you work night shift, it's best that you take it this time, that time, whatever. The smallest thing can mean a huge difference for someone else. This selling is simple, but the problem is a lot of people complicate it. So now let me ask you this. We've gone over the fact, you just reached out to me today. That's never happened before. That has happened before. We've never had a conversation before. You haven't tried the products, but you're going to get an experience with the products. You don't need to lose weight. You actually want to gain weight, which we help with. And you want to take advantage of the $5 promo. Yay. Yes. I'm so happy you saw that.
I was trying to save a little money.
Yes. So let me ask you this. How much money do you want to make? Meaning this. Let me tell you. I like to have a goal. So it can be, for some people, it's childcare. Well, before the pandemic, everybody was saying childcare. Some people said car notes. Some people said this. Some people said that. What's the bill that gets on your nerves?
It's funny because I've been thinking about my why, just because of my affiliation with, in the past, with different organizations. And that's the question. What is your why? Why are you doing this?
What's the why that makes you cry?
The why that makes you cry. And my why didn't really make me cry, but it also wasn't to really work at the business, right?
Yes.
So I had to dig a little deep. I've been digging a little deeper over these last couple of weeks since I came back into awareness about TLC, because and I know I heard about it, like I said, years ago. I don't know when, I don't know where, but it wasn't when I heard about it again a few weeks ago, it wasn't like the first time. And so when it came back to me, I thought, well, I don't want to try something again if my mindset is in the same place, because it's
right mindset.
It's I could be a customer. I'm okay with being a customer, loving the product, using the product. But as far as being a distributor, what is my why? And I had plenty of them, but I think I was extricating them from the business side of things. And because I was just focused on the number. So I heard someone's why, and it was like, I want to make sure that my husband doesn't have to go back to this job because it's dangerous and blah, blah, blah. And so I thought, well, wow, that's a why. So for me, I think the why is being able to preserve a family home, that if I don't buy the property, then the home is going to be eventually sold, because, the rest of the family doesn't necessarily see the same value or honor the value. I don't really know. I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth, but from my take of it, everyone who comes to visit the property always has this amazing story of what it meant to them and how my great-grandparents brought them in and took care of them. And they have these wonderful memories, which in my community, I don't know, in the Black community, maybe it's just not. Memories are something that we have to cherish a little bit more because ours don't go 7 or 8 generations deep typically.
Okay, we don't be talking about stuff.
We'll be talking about
Girl.
stuff. We're talking about pop culture. We're talking about just whatever happened to somebody down the street. But as far as hearing those memories and how uniquely consistent the experience is for each person, that's my why. So yeah, I have bills, I have a car payment, I have kids, I got tuitions that need to be paid and all of that. But for this moment in time, is my why.
You know what's so funny?
Make about $30,000 in order to be able to take ownership of this property, just to start the process of extending the legacy a little bit further.
Okay, I'm going to share something with you that I can't share right now since we're broadcasting. But I'm going to share something with you. You said $30K?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, you know what's so funny about us having this conversation? Over the weekend, on Sunday night, I was in Atlanta. Check your messenger, okay?
Okay.
But I was in Atlanta and with my cousin, and we started watching Hoarders, okay? Now, girl, this Hoarder story was so crazy. It premiered July of 2020. This story was so crazy. So, okay, there was this woman and a man, and they were married. They were on this huge plantation style house. This house was gorgeous, on acres with like trees. It was like wraparound porch, fans on the porch, like going with the wind style, honey.
No.
You know what I'm talking about? The episode?
No.
That's how your house is. That's how your house is. That you're talking about.
They're the Hoarders?
No, your house is like this house that I described? Is that why you said say no more?
No, not Hoarders.
No, okay. Well, no. Okay. But this house
as far as like this beautiful house, and don't let it be that they're Hoarders in this.
Girl, you gotta look this up. It's unbelievable. This house had 3 stories. It was so packed. Like the husband and the wife, they kept it impeccable. Unfortunately, like the whole town came to this house. They were like, if it wasn't 50 people here, it wasn't a party. Everybody came to this house. It was like a legend in the town. Well, there was a family secret. The secret was that the woman was bipolar. And so one day she hung herself in the basement. Well, the kids' piano teacher cared for the husband, and then they got married. Then the piano teacher stepmother started hoarding all this stuff, so much so that the 3rd floor of the house was coming. It was like it was about to collapse. Like the ceiling was coming down. Girl, when I say I was watching this family torn apart by all of the things in this house and the legacy of the house and the family. This woman moved into their house, hoarded stuff, packed up the house. Nobody went into the basement because that's where the mother committed suicide. And the woman took the mother's car, started driving the mother's car, took the mother's, charged up all the credit cards, took mortgages out on the house. Long story short, they cleaned the house. They unpacked some family, drama. Mementos. Yeah, well, not just the mementos, but they talked about what happened and their piano teacher becoming their stepmother and all this other stuff. And as it turned out, do you know they eventually lost that house because they could not afford the repairs and all the stuff that went along with it. And the sons were so torn up that they could not keep that house in the family for their children. Girl, when I say that thing took me through, I was like, ooh, I was emotionally spent when I was just like, I'm exhausted.
It's just such a deep-rooted
and it was
issue.
Sad. It was so sad. It was
it's deep-rooted because, we don't, we just don't have enough home ownership as African Americans in this country. We don't have enough home ownership of our communities, especially of late. So don't get me on the political soapbox, but it's more
Jeri. Okay, see, and you watch my videos. You watch my videos, so you know I'm infamous for cutting people off. But I gotta tell you something about this too.
It's okay, because I have that affliction as well.
Most people on my team do. That's why they join me, because we both be cutting people off.
It's keeping the conversation popping.
It's keeping the conversation popping. But no, I recently joined this mentorship, and they have these things called accelerator calls. And so we had a mortgage lender on who was a black guy, and he was talking about how he said, you know, a lot of y'all just go get a lender, and you're so emotionally connected to the house that the lender is an afterthought. He was like, do y'all understand how many of us are leaving money on the table simply because we don't even know how to have the conversation to put ourselves in the most advantageous position possible, like being overcharged for the loan because you're just trying to get the house because you can see your furniture in it, or you can see your kids in it. And when I say he was putting us on game, I was like, ooh, if you don't talk that talk. It was so educational. And then on top of that, I think it was a client of mine that sent me a video about how a lot of blacks lose houses that have stayed in the family simply because they don't know about, oh my gosh, it's some loophole in the system to where if your house is passed down to a number of family members, some of your family members can elect, and this happened a lot in the South, like a house will be passed on to all the children or to all the grandchildren. Well, if you got 10, 12 grandkids, and then some of them move up north to New York, they don't have this affinity to the house in South Carolina like a lot of people do. So they would sell their shares. Well, guess what? Now whoever they sold their shares to, it was something like you can basically be forced out of the house. Even there was a family, they even lived on the land, and they were forced out of that house because they only had partial ownership, and somebody who sold. It was something crazy that, and most people do not find out about this until it happens to them. I was like, whoa, I sent it to everybody. I was like, watch this. So it's so funny that we're having this conversation, because absolutely we need to think what a wise man leaves a what? An inheritance for his children's children. So we need to think about that stuff.
We ought to want to, if you can't, if you can't do it, then